And we're back. Welcome to my preview and predictions for the first quarter-final of the Women's Euros. As you can see on your screen right now, 8 teams have been eliminated and 8 teams are remaining. And today's video is going to be covering the first of those matches taking place tomorrow. As for this video, apologies for it being up a little bit later than usual. I did say in my Club World Cup final prediction I was going to take a couple of days off to rest and recuperate at the end of a very long season. And you know what? It's been worth it. It's been great. And I've obviously got a couple of big transfer reaction videos to do over the course of the next 24 hours as well. So keep an eye out for them. Speaking of that Club World Cup final though, absolutely unbelievable performance from Chelsea. Thoroughly deserving of the title of world champions. And I'm sure Chelsea fans aren't going to hold that over us for the next 4 years in the slightest, but a big statement from them ahead of a massive new season ahead. Speaking of that season, if you haven't done so already, please do consider dropping a like on this video if you enjoy all of my previews and predictions. Share this with a friend to get as many people involved in this Women's Euros as possible. Subscribe with notifications turned on so don't miss out on any of the new series we have got going in to that brand new season. If you want to gain access to even more predictions from myself, you can become a member of this channel by clicking the join button. I'll be doing exclusive members only predictions over on my community page for my members for all of the major leagues that I am not covering in videos such as this. But without any further ado, this is the match taking place tomorrow in the Women's Euros. You can see at the end of the group stages, we're on 17 out of 24 with 2 correct scores. So, do you know what? I am very, very happy with that. We had a pretty damn good match day 3. I always say match day 3s are horrible to call. So, to come out of that in 17 out of 24, I am very, very happy. But this is the game we've got taking place tomorrow. We've got Norway and we have got Italy. And to be honest, we are starting off with an incredibly, incredibly tough quarter-final match. Norway, of course, the winners of their group. Italy finishing runners-up. That is why Norway are considered the home team. Italy considered the away team. That will be the case for all of the quarter-finals. The team that are classed as the home team will be the team that won their group. But Norway, of course, come into this off the back of winning all 3 matches in their group stages. And that includes winning on match day 3 against Iceland despite playing any of their big name superstars. So that's a really good position for Norway to be in. For Italy, they managed to finish runners-up despite actually only getting 4 points in the group stages. They won their match day 1 game, they drew their match day 2 game, and they lost their match day 3 game, actually correctly predicted by myself, 3-1 to Spain in that final group stage match. So, a lot of you are probably clicking on this video going, hang on a minute, why are all the bookmakers telling me that Italy are the favourites for this match? Because they've only got 4 points and Norway got 9. Well, let me break it down for you a little bit. Firstly, Italy are higher ranked than Norway. That's just something that should always be considered when it comes to matches like this. Secondly, Norway had a far easier group on paper than what Italy did. If you looked at Norway's group, the expectation was that Norway would beat the other 3 teams in that group, those teams being Finland, Iceland and Switzerland. Now, to be fair, how they've managed to get away with a group on paper that easy is incredible when you consider you've had a group where England, France and Netherlands were all in the same group. Genuinely, all 3 of those teams would have been expected to win the group that Norway have won. Italy, on the other hand, were coming up against the world champions and were expected to finish runners-up in that group. The one thing that you would say that could tip the balance in Norway's favour is that draw from Italy against Portugal. That is a really, really poor result from Italy. And furthermore, they weren't that convincing against Belgium. And also, they played their first team against Spain, and Spain rested players in that final game, and they still lost. So I don't think Italy have had a particularly good tournament so far. And as I've already mentioned, Norway have proven themselves time and time again so far in the fact that they've won their first 2 games with their first team, and they've won their 3rd game resting their key players as well. So it's an interesting one, but obviously the other reason why Italy are probably going to be considered the favourites is on paper, player for player. They've probably got an all-round better starting lineup, whereas Norway do have those 3 or 4 superstar players, but the rest of the squad isn't necessarily that good. In terms of the actual team news for this match then, Both sides come into this with no fresh fitness concerns, no injury concerns, but there could be a key absentee for Norway. Their left back, Lund, picked up 2 yellow cards in the second half against Iceland, and they are going to be suspended for this match. Now, she didn't even start the game. She's the regular left back. She came on at half-time, picked up a very, very poor yellow card early on, but the second one is the most needless second yellow card you've ever seen in your life. Last minute of the game, nothing ball to the back post. She pulls down her opponent, giving away a penalty and picking up a second yellow card. And at that point in time, Norway were 4-2 up. They could have even allowed that to just be a goal and they still would have won 4-3. But instead, she gave away a penalty. She's got herself suspended and now Norway are going to be without their first choice left back for this match. No fresh concerns or no suspensions at all for Italy coming into this one. To make it even harder to call, these two sides were actually in the same European qualification group. So to actually get into this competition, these two were in the same qualification group. Italy ended up finishing 2 points above Norway in that group. That allowed Italy to qualify directly for the championships, whereas Norway had to go through the playoff process, which obviously they did. That's how they got here in the first place. But what makes this prediction so hard to call is that both matches between these two sides ended in draws. It was a 0-0 draw in Norway. It was a 1-1 draw in Italy. Personally then, with all of those things considered, I do think this is a very, very hard game to call. As I said at the start, I think all three results are possible. I think you can make justifications for Italy to win. I think you can make justifications for Norway to win. And as I've already mentioned, given how close these sides are, there is a very, very strong possibility that this game goes straight into the extra time and penalty realms. And to be honest, that is where I'm actually going to go for this. I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw in 90 minutes. I really don't think there is much to split between these two sides. However, for the purposes of the series, I do have to predict a winner. And it is that winner that counts towards my actual score in the top of your screen. I always class myself as getting the result correct if I predict correctly the team to progress to the next round. And to be honest with you, even though Italy are the favourites, I think Norway are the more likely team to get through. They are an up-and-coming side. They've got a lot of young talent in their team with a lot of good experienced players as well. And like I said, they've got those superstars. They've got Hansen. They've got Hegerberg. They've got Rieten. I don't think Italy have players of that star quality available to them. And in matches that are so close like this, it's normally those star quality players that end up making the difference in the end. So I'm going to go for Norway to be the victors overall, but I'm only going to go for a draw in 90 minutes. As always, let me know all of your thoughts down in the comment section below. It's going to be a very, very tight, very, very interesting game between these two sides. Who do you think is going to be making it into the semi-finals? Let me know down below. And as always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'll be back tomorrow morning, back at the usual time of 9 AM UK once again to cover the next quarterfinal of the Women's Euro. So a final, thank you very much for watching once again. I'll see you tomorrow.